Yeah, hi everybody. Jeff Prentice here. I'm going to try to give you some tips on completing the form group assignment, week 2, assignment 2. It's very complicated. It's a 3-part assignment in the way I look at it. First thing I want you to do is go to my site and look at the resources. This is me here. This is my brother. And so just to kind of, we'll get to know you there. And we're going to click on Design Fundamentals, and we're going to click on week 2. And we're going to click on form groups. Now, it's so important for you to try to show up for office hours. I can show you all of the stuff I'm going to show you in this tutorial and talk with you one-on-one. But if you don't show up for office hours, then you're going to have to kind of figure it out on your own watching this tutorial. So let me try to make it easy for you. Take a look at the examples. It's a form group that you create, a brick, a building block. You're going to put that in the lower left. Then you're going to put your label in the lower right. And you're going to want to use some of the things that we're talking about in the lecture. Rotation, reflection, I let you use dilation, and translation. Okay, so here's another example. This is back when we had to do 4 assignments, 4 designs. Here you can see the form group in the corner and the label. But no one's telling us in the label like what we're looking at. This I'm going to assume is rotation, this is reflection, this is translation, right? We used to just have one design. I actually preferred that because people would make one really nice design out of a form group. So take a look at these examples, right? Now I'm going to do it in Photoshop, okay? And this is going to be however long it takes. This might be 10, 15 minutes. So I'm going to string these together, in YouTube, and you can be watching this. But I'm going to do a file new. I'm going to go to web. I'm going to do 600 by 800. I want to create. The first thing is I need a form group. Now, if you showed up for office hours, we could have a discussion about raster shapes that, that you would fill versus vector shapes, okay? Quickly, just to give you a quick example of what we're talking about here, let's create a new layer and let's fill that, okay, with black, and then let's create, actually, sorry, that's not black. I was showing somebody that they weren't using black, so let's pick black there. You see that's a navy blue. Now let's make a vector shape. Creates a new layer. Now, look at the difference. On this one, a raster shape, it basically went out and it filled that circle with pixels. On this one, the vector shape, it cut out a mask to go around a black background. The advantage is if you try to zoom in on this one and make it bigger, look at the blur. If you make this one bigger, it's not going to blur because it just makes the cutout a different size in that. So there's a difference in raster and vector. This one you can do Control U on and you can change the hue saturation. This one you would have to click on that circle in order to change the color. Okay, so and you can also rasterize it. So there's just it's not that complicated, but there's just stuff that you want to be aware of. Okay, so what's the first thing I want to do? I need to create my brick, my form group, my building block, right? It has to be circles. I'm going to create it using a vector shape. Now, I can make it as big as I want it because I'm going to resize it, right? To create a circle, I need to hold down my shift key. What happens if I don't hold down my shift key? I get that. That is illegal. So hold down your shift key and you can make circle, 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 circle. All right, so let's create a circle. Now, we need a form group, a building block. And if you look at the examples, the building block is going to be super important. Now I'm going to make a simple one here, okay? I'm going to make one, and then I'm going to hit new layer just to make sure I'm on a separate layer. I'm going to create another circle, but I'm going to make this one white. Double click, make it white, boom. That's kind of a simple form group, right? Let me put another black one on there, okay? And I'm going to copy that by I'm going to copy that with my move tool selected. I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I copied that over there, and I could move it on top of the black there, and I can make it smaller by doing Control T. Control T. I use it all the time. Hold down your Shift key. If you don't hold down your Shift key, you're going to get this, and then I'm going to yell at you about you're having ellipses in your design. Well, I'm not going to yell at you, but I mean, I will tell you, hey, this is illegal. Right? All right. That's actually not a bad looking form group that's getting ready to be used. Let me just try something else here. Let me create another white one. You got to play with it, right? I'm letting you use dilation, okay? So maybe that's my form group. All right, fine. Now, next, you see these different layers? Think of these as sheets of tracing paper. People get really confused by layers. It's really easy. These are just layers with things on them, and you can move them up and down and around and hide them and, you know, whatever you want. But I'm going to shift click through, control click, and I'm going to convert to a smart object. That puts all my vector information in one place, right? Now I'm ready to make a design. Let's make design number 1. File, new, web, 600, 800, boom. Now I've got these tabs going, right? I'm going to tab between them, and I'm going to select, copy, paste my smart object in there. Now, theoretically, I should be able to make this big without it getting blurry, right? Let's just test it. Good enough. Not bad. Personally, I have to do a little more research on smart objects. You know, they're kind of new. I haven't played with them that much, but I am going to the lesson here is to constantly look for aberrations, blurs, things that don't look good. All right, let's do a simple design using translation. Copy, hit your move tool, hold down your Alt key, wait for those 2 arrows, then wait for that little white arrow to appear. Copy this over. Creates a new layer. Control T, hold down your Shift key, and it'll do it in increments. You know, see the 90-degree there? I don't know what angle exactly that is. That's rotation. All right, where were we? Sorry, I got a phone call interrupted there. So we rotated it. This isn't a great design right now, but again, you know, I want to keep this short and sweet and let you guys do the playing around. Let me just do reflection, okay? So there's a nice little reflection design. Now watch this. Let's say I'm done. Let's say I'm not shooting for an A. Let's say I'm shooting for, like, you know, a B or something. I'm going to crop this. Edit. Oh, image crop. That's how I crop. And watch. I'm going to put a border around it. New layer. Make sure black's in the foreground. Edit stroke. 1 pixel. Boom. Puts a nice little border around that. Okay. Now, there's things I could go into here about saving a copy with your layers and then flattening a copy. Again, I don't want this tutorial to go on forever, so I am going to just take the hit here and I'm going to do something that you should never do, and that's flatten your original. Okay. Because now if your instructor comes back and says, hey, can you just move this over a little bit, you're going to be kind of stuck. Although you can do a lot of edits here. I can continue to edit this flattened, right? Okay, select all. That's Command A. Copy, Command C. Now I'm going to make a master canvas to present these. I told you this is like a 3-part, right? So for your master canvas, I would start with web, 800, but make it 2,000 pixels high, because we'll crop that later. Now, paste. Look at that beautiful little bordered design on there. I pasted it in. Okay, let's close this. All right, let's go over here. Now, we need to do File New to make a new design. File New, Web, 600, 800. I'm going to go over to my super unit, Control A, Control C, making sure I'm on the right layer. All right, so now we want to make another design, okay? Now again, I'm going kind of fast. You know, this would be translation, okay? I'm just, with my move tool selected, I'm just holding down my Alt key and I'm copying this. Let me show you a little trick. Shift click through, link layers, okay? Now I can move them as a group. 1, 2, and 3. And then I want to shift click through. I think it was these top 3. I want to link those layers. Whoops. Whoops. I better just link everybody. Okay. Let's link all my layers. Move tool. Okay. I'm going to call this translation. All right. What do I need to do? Create a new layer. Well, I might want to crop this. Make it nice and tight there. Give it, look at the room around the design. I'm going to do an edit stroke. Pixel. I should have done a Control A, shouldn't I have? Well, all right. I'll show you another trick. Now I'm going to select this. I'm going to do an image crop. I'm going to flatten it. Again, I'll show you a trick later where you save all of your layers and then you flatten it. For right now, I just want to get you an idea of what this assignment can look like. All right. Presentation here isn't bad. I prefer it when the designs line up perfectly, but this is fine. Now watch. I'm going to crop it, give myself some room at the bottom for my label. You might be thinking, wow, that's so small. Well, that's because I'm zoomed out. This is how big it is. Does it need to be this big for web format? No, it doesn't really. Let's make this 600. That's still plenty big for these designs. So, reflection, translation. So watch this. Arial, 11 point or 11 pixel, right? From top. Reflection, comma, and I don't need any more commands. They know we're starting from the top. Reflection, translation, name, 2012. You don't need the date. You don't need to say it's a classroom assignment. I'm thinking portfolio presentation. There you go. There it is. Reflection, translation, and just an overview. We created our form group using vector shapes and I made a smart object. We copied it over. We made our designs, put a little border around them so they're contained compositions, pasted them onto a master canvas, labeled it, and now we do a file, save for web and devices, high quality JPEG, save it, use the naming format, probably Prentice _ Jeff _ week 2 assignment 2, something like that. Boom, you're done. Yeah, hi, but does anyone see what's wrong with this picture? We thought we were done, right? It's pretty easy to forget some things. What is required in this presentation? The form group in the lower left corner. Now, why is that important? I'll tell you why. Because, and you're going to realize this once you get into, critiquing these things. Sometimes when you're looking at these form groups, you can't tell what the form group is. Was the form group this thing? Was the form group this thing? What is it? So, to make it easy for any reviewer to understand what form group was used to create the design, we put a little copy down here, and it looks really cool. How do you do that? Go back to your original form group. Make sure that you're on that layer where that smart vector object is. Select all, which is Command A. Copy, Command C. Go over here. Let's see where I'm at. Go over here. And let's do a paste. Boom. Now you're probably looking at that going, oh my gosh, it's so big. What am I going to do? Well, and you see it pasted it into a new layer. Control T. Always hold down your Shift key. Resize it down. Bring it down here. Resize it down. Hit return. There's my form group. I don't need to put form group down here. It's pretty obvious that this is the form group. Here's the label. I'm telling people here's reflection, here's translation, here's my form group. I'm done. Now I can do a file save for web and devices, right? So I just wanted to add that on there because I forgot it. And if I forgot it, there's a chance you're going to forget it. So this is necessary. And it's necessary to make it easy for people to immediately look at your design and look down here and say, here's the form group. Oh, I see. He flipped it and then duplicated it. And then to use translation to copy that over 2 other times.